Hey guys, Coaster Directed coming at you live with another park battle. This is the second in my Park Madness tournament bracket. This is Cedar Point versus Canada's Wonderland. The biggest park in Canada versus one of the biggest parks in America. First, let's start off with the big ones, or two of the big ones actually. Magnum XL200, the very first hypercoaster, and Behemoth, one of the newest hypercoasters. I will be giving the 2 points to Behemoth due to the amazing airtime and smoothness. Magnum XL200 has a little bit of a shake, and it's a little bit rough nowadays, but Behemoth, based on what I love about Diamondback, it's supposed to be just as good, and I'm giving them the 2 points because of it. The Mine Rides. We got Cedar Creek Mine Ride versus the Runaway, or Thunder Run, yes. Thunder Run's a powered one, but it's still technically considered a coaster. I still think it's a very short ride, but I consider Cedar Creek Mine Ride the better ride. These are two coasters that desperately either need to be removed or RMC'd because they take up a lot of space. And they're not that good now. So anyways, we got Mean Streak and Great Canadian Mine Buster. I'm gonna have to say I rode Mean Streak and I thought it was actually decent. It wasn't as rough as I thought it was gonna be, but it was definitely rough. It had this awful screeching noise, but I still think it is better because the stats are much better and it wasn't awful, but it was pretty bad. So I'm gonna be giving the single point to Mean Streak. Inverts, we got Raptor, a fantastic B&M invert, and Flight Deck, a Vekoma SLC, one of the roughest Vekoma SLCs. Obviously, we are going to give the 2 points to Raptor. You're probably a Vekoma SLC is never going to win against a B&M invert. Launch Coasters, this one's not that fair, but it was the best I could do for this one. Because those were really, well, and they're terrain hugging, I guess, kind of. Anyways, we got Maverick at Cedar Point, and we got Backlot Stunt Coaster, a clone at 3 Paramount Parks, now Cedar Fair Parks. So obviously, if you've ever been on Maverick, and even if you've just seen a POV, Maverick obviously wins. So 6-2. Cedar Point is starting to run away with the victory. Can they keep the lead? We got more Woodies. We got Blue Streak, and we have got Wild Beast. Wild Beast is actually a pretty good ride. It's definitely a lot better than Canadian Mine Buster. So I will be giving the point to them, even though Blue Streak is a classic. Arrow Loopers. We got Dragonfire and Corkscrew. Corkscrew was pretty rough when I went, and Dragonfire is pretty good. It has more inversions. It has 2 vertical loops instead of 1. And it is slightly taller, so I will be giving the single point to Dragonfire. 6-4. It looks like Canada's Wonderland is catching back up. Suspended coasters. There is a Vortex at Canada's Wonderland, which is a slightly larger version than the one at Kings Island, the Bat, which I love that one. So, and then there's also Iron Dragon. Iron Dragon I don't really like that much. It's very scenic, but it's a kind of a painful ride, whereas I can tolerate the Bat. But this isn't that good. It's pretty boring. There's really no suspended. The suspended cars aren't used that well except for the very end. So I will be giving the point to Vortex. 6-5. It looks like Canada's Wonderland is catching up. Ooh, Shuttle Coasters. We've got a standard Vekoma Boomerang versus one of the best vertical impulse coasters by Intamin. Obviously, Shuttle Coaster, it's nothing new, but a vertical impulse coaster that's over 200 feet, very good. I will be giving the single point to Cedar Point. The Kiddie Coaster is worth half a point. Junior Gemini is larger. It was actually Intamin's first roller coaster. It's larger, it goes twice, but it also doesn't just go in a circle, it crosses over at one point, where this is a pretty standard one that most of the old Paramount parks had. or have, like King's Dominion, King's Island have them, and so does Carowinds. So I'll be giving the half a point to uh, Wilderness Run. Yeah, Wilderness Run, not Junior Gemini, if I said that, sorry. We got small family coasters. We got Woodstock Express versus Ghoster Coaster. This is a clone. Both of them are clones. Ghoster Coaster is the same as Woodstock Express at Kings Island, and I believe Woodstock Express at King's Dominion as well. But also, so is Woodstock or the Woodstock Express at Cedar Point. It is a very, very common family coaster found at many places, including Islands of Adventure, that is now flight at the Hippogriff. So I will be giving it the point to Ghoster Coaster. Wing versus Flyer. This Time Warp is a very weird flyer. It does have inversions, however, it locks you in and you fly, and then you have this weird spiral lift hill that doesn't use a chain. Very strange. However, Gatekeeper is one of the world. I'd say it's tied with Thunderbird for the best wing coaster. So I'll be giving the 2 points to Gatekeeper. Hyper matchup. These are the two best in the park easily. We got Millennium Force versus Leviathan. Leviathan is, in my opinion, a glorified hyper coaster. It's got an extra 100 feet, but it doesn't do much except for airtime. While Millennium Force is dedicated on keeping speed the entire time you are flying through that ride. It feels like you're keeping 90 miles an hour for the entire time. I love that ride. It's my number one right now, and no, I understand some people think it's overrated. It is overrated, but I love it still. I'll be giving the 3 points to Millennium Force. Cedar Point's extra coasters. They have 3 notable extra coasters, or extra coasters in general, and all 3 are notable. We got 2 points for Rougarou, which is an okay floorless. It wasn't as good as I was hoping, but it's still good. 1 point for Gemini, which is a classic steel dueling coaster. And we got Top Thrill Dragster, the first strata coaster, an awesome ride. People say it's overrated. It is like Millennium Force, but it's still an amazing ride. That launch is fantastic. So they will be getting 6 points. Canada's Wonderland extra coasters. They also have 3. We got Wonder Mountain's Guardian, we got The Fly, and we got Silver Streak, which is a clone of Flying Ace Aerial Chase at Carowinds and Kings Island. So I will be giving 2 points for Wonder Mountain's Guardian, which is an amazing, or it's a pretty good shooter coaster, and we got and then Fly's a standard Wild Mouse and a Vekoma Hang and Bang. So 4 points. We got drop towers. We got an Intamin drop tower versus an SNS drop tower. Even though Power Tower has 4 towers and it's higher, I still prefer drop tower because it's an Intamin one. But I do like how Power Tower just barely. It's really good, but it barely got behind on this. It does have a launching side, which I love those sides a lot more. However, I'm thinking at the general public, and Intamin is a lot better for it. So the 2 points are going to Drop Tower Scream Zone. Huss Frisbee, we got a giant frisbee at Cedar Point, which is max air, and we got Cyclone at Canada's Wonderland. Obviously, a Huss Giant Frisbee is going to win. There's only one other, and that's Delirium at Kings Island. And so they will be getting the single point for that. Thrill rides. We got Canada's Wonderland actually has a crap ton. They have 4 extra, and Cedar Point has 2 extra. Both have a Windseeker, and Cedar Point has a Skyhawk, which is a very good scream and swing. It's one of my favorite flat rides now. And we got Sledgehammer, and we got Riptide, and the other one, I forget, sorry. But anyways, those are all pretty good thrill rides, and they will be getting 4 extra points, while Cedar Point will only be getting 2. Family rides. We got Cedar Point has some of the has the most rides in a single park, and the most family rides. They have 72, but Canada's Wonderland cannot compete. Only has 47. So I will be giving the 2 points to Cedar Point. The prices, which is obviously the worst part. I know I know you don't want to, but you have to pay to get into the park somehow. We got a single day admission. Cedar Point, it's $5 more, and the season pass, the regular season pass, is a lot more at $134 versus the season pass at Canada's Wonderland, which is $89. So obviously you pay less at Canada's Wonderland, so they will be getting the 2 points. Operations, because both of these are pretty highly destinated parks, they have to be on the top of their game all the time to get everyone through. Canada's Wonderland, it helps because they have high capacity rides like Behemoth and Leviathan, but Cedar Point's people are always on top of things, very good, and so they will both parks will be getting 2 points or 3 points for their efforts. The park appearance, it is very hard to beat Cedar Point with its view. Over Lake Erie, even it's been cleaned up. Lake Erie's been cleaned up a lot, so it looks a lot better than it did. However, it is over Lake Erie. Very good looking. It has a good beach. The park is very clean. There is barely any trash. Although I was at low attendance both days, it was still very, very clean. Cleaner than I've ever seen it at Kings Island and Islands of Adventure and any of the Disney parks and Universal in general. Very clean for a seasonal park. So those will be getting the 2 points. And the winner is obviously Cedar Point, winning by 7 points. Obviously, they won. They're obviously the better park. However, Canada's Wonderland is a fantastic park as well. If you have the opportunity to go there to ride Leviathan and Behemoth, I'd say go there. However, if you have to choose between them, hopefully this helps you out. Cedar Point, I'm at Cedar Point right now, is my favorite park. Behind Kings Island, because Kings Island's my home park. But Cedar Point is a fantastic park with tons of rides and everything. So is Canada's Wonderland. Don't get me wrong, it's a very good park, like I said. They have very good rides. But Cedar Point just managed to edge it out and win. Okay, so this is the order for my Park Madness tournament so far. We got Kings Island and Cedar Point that are going to go up against each other in the next few rounds, or in the next round. Well, we have Carowinds versus going against Six Flags New England and Six Flags Great Adventure going against Magic Mountain. We got Over Texas against Great America, Dollywood against Holiday World, Lagoon Park versus Silver Dollar City, Busch Gardens Williamsburg versus Busch Gardens Africa. And so all those will be going against each other, and in the end, let's see who is the best park. Like, favorite, rate, comment, and subscribe. And as always, keep coasting.